Hello, my interpersonal communication class. We are right on top of week 7. And after week 7, we are going to have a break, spring break. And I don't know if I mentioned this or not to you, but Blackboard, the IT people, have said Blackboard may not be available during spring break for the entire time. They have to take it down at some point for updates or repair or whatever they do, just something like that. So just be aware of it. It may not be available. So for our class and for your other classes, if you're thinking spring break will be a great day to catch up on your schoolwork, it just well may be, but it also might be a little more difficult because if Blackboard is not available. All right, I'm going to turn the camera around now, and I'm going to talk about our week 7 assignment, which is the takeaway. So here we go. When you look at the calendar, you see week 7. It says an oral presentation. It's our third one. The first one was our introduction, then Myers-Briggs, and now this one. And there'll be another one just like this. This is the time in the semester that you have taken in a lot of information, and through your journals and your discussion boards, you have given a lot of feedback. And if we were sitting in a classroom right now, I would say, okay, next week, everyone give me a review of what has made an impression on you, or something you've learned, or something you may take away, or that you see the value of. And maybe there is nothing, so then you're going to have to be very creative. But as we look through the week, I look through the weeks that came right before. Like last week we were talking about listening skills, or this week we're talking about listening. The week before, nonverbal communication, then the power of words, and then we did the Myers-Briggs, of course, with the different personality types. So I go up here to up here, and I would say, okay, let's see. We have the syllabus here, and we have our discussion boards and class videos, and I say, okay, from this time on, going from the beginning in January, look at the different topics we've been looking at, and these are all through our discussion boards. And also your assignments on your journals. Is there anything that you would say if you were sitting in a classroom and I went around and I said, okay, Caitlin, okay, Evan, tell me something that has made an impression with you or has stuck with you. And it doesn't even have to be a formal presentation, just like you did with your introductions, just like you did with your Myers-Briggs. You're going to sit before your camera and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to roll them. And within, I think I said 2 or 3 minutes, I don't know how long I said. I don't mind if it's only a short bit. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything like that. But that you are going to give us an assessment of what you have learned or taken away. And it might be listening skills that maybe you realize that you're not being listened to, and that what do you do about that? And that's another thing. I have noticed that the honesty in this room, in this course, has been amazing through the journals, which I don't discuss your journals with anyone. Or I'm not even going to give an example of the journals right now. But the point is that I see you being very reflective and taking this seriously, and I'm happy to see that. But the other thing is realize that studying interpersonal skills communication is not a panacea. Just like Julia T. Wood said, it's not going to cure everything. And sometimes it can start to annoy you. And you look at some of the relationship work that you have to work on, especially with listening. I noticed a number of people had comments about that, and mostly because they feel like they're not being listened to. So what can you do? You can be a role model. You can start listening more. And hopefully by doing that, your family and friends and thous will say, well, what about you? Tell me more about you. And it'll be more of an exchange. So it's role modeling. That's all I can say. You can't stop preaching to people. Of course, if you find out or you realize you have serious relationship issues, then you really need to see a counselor, because this is just the outline. This interpersonal just talks about some good practices, but it's not trying to solve people's problems. So on your takeaway, and it might have been that from listening skills, something that was said or that rang true to you that you would share. Maybe it was nonverbal communication. A number of you said that you liked that video. from the History Channel, and you were like, whoa, I got to get my act together with my nonverbal. And you know how much of it is the communication effectiveness is the vocal and the visual, not just the words. But Susan Rannick said the power of words. So when I look at each student's answers on the discussion boards and in the journals, I could do this assignment for you because I have a feeling of what you could say that would be a natural extension of what you've already talked about in the written. This is just orally, just like I'm talking to you now, just sharing a comment with you, connecting through a video. And I know I'm not really looking at the camera. I'm not even sure where to look on this. I have this sideways. But I just want you to feel comfortable with it. We're starting to know each other. You get to know each other through what you say, and this is just another extension, another like just sharing a little bit more with our visual. So I want these to be visual. I want you to do a video. I want to hear your voice. It does not have to be long, and it could be anecdotal. Maybe there was something that's happened in the last few weeks that made you smile. That something happened that you said, you know what, this came to pass, or I tried the rasa that Julie and Treasure talked about. I try to ask back questions, but you can't preach to people in your life, and no one should come off as a know-it-all. You're taking a course in reflection and just understanding a little bit more, but your relationships are fine. I'm sure they are before this class came along, but this might help you, especially in the future, workplace-wise, etc., to realize the role you can play. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I read your journals, I read your discussion boards, and I